Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing with you something that has been, sorry, I'm moving my mirror out of the way, something that has been in the works for quite a while. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen kind of a preview to this video, but I have been on the hunt for the best drugstore tubing mascara, or the best affordable tubing mascara. And I've found some really great ones, and I've kissed some frogs along the way. So if you are not familiar with what a tubing mascara is, think of a regular mascara like paint that you're painting onto your eyelashes. And then think of a tubing mascara like little rubber polymers that are wrapping around each individual lash. So when paint gets wet or rubs up against oil, it starts to come off, which is what gives you like the raccoon eyes and gets that transfer onto your skin. But when rubber gets wet, nothing really happens. So the reason people love tubing mascaras is because they do not transfer at all onto your skin. Number one. And number two, because they are just those little rubber polymers around your eyelash, they're really easy to remove with just warm water. So all you have to do is take some warm water and the tubes will slide right off of your lashes rather than getting like black smeared everywhere all over your face trying to get your mascara off. So that's the gist of what a tubing mascara is. I will leave some links down below in case you want to read up on it a little bit more. If you're the type of person that mascara always smudges on, it always smears, maybe you have really oily eyelids, maybe you sweat a lot during the summer, you're looking for something that is transfer proof, this is the video for you. So like I said, over the course of the last couple of weeks, I've been doing wear tests on all of these mascaras. Some of these I remember liking a lot more than I did when I did the test, and some of them I had never tried before. There are some definite no's in this list, and there are some definite yeses. So if you are interested in seeing some of the best and worst tubing mascaras at the drugstore, then just keep on watching. All right, so let's start with the bad ones and then work our way up to the good ones. So the first one that did not work out for me was this Essence Bye Bye Panda Eyes mascara. This claims to be smudge-proof, volumizing, and defining, and they don't say on the actual bottle like this is a tubing mascara, but it will say something like removes easily with warm water, things like that. So you kind of have to like do some research to figure out if it is a tubing mascara or not. This built length and volume really well, but as far as curl goes, which you guys know is very important to me because I have straight lashes, I felt like the formula was really heavy and wet. So even though as I was first applying it, I was like, this is doing everything. After I started layering it on more and more, my lashes were like fume and just kind of wilting down because of the heaviness of the formula. But nothing a lash curler couldn't fix, so initial application of this was really impressive. I want to say I was only 4 hours in when I saw some transferring and some flaking on this one, which is the whole purpose of a tubing mascara, is that it doesn't transfer. So the transfer was an issue, and then as I was removing it, I got the smearing all around my eyes. Some of it did come off in tubes, but there was also smearing like a traditional mascara would do. So I rated all of these out of 10 in 5 different categories: length, volume, curl, wear time, removal, and then I did an overall average of those numbers. But I want to share with you the full breakdown in case there are certain things that matter more to you. So for this one, 8 out of 10 for length, 8 out of 10 for volume, 6 out of 10 for curl, 4 out of 10 for wear time, and 4 out of 10 for removal. This got an overall 6 out of 10 score. I feel like the lengthening and the volumizing that this provides is the only reason that it's not a lower score. But as far as a tubing mascara goes, I feel like this is not really a tubing mascara. All right, next up is Maybelline's Snapscara. This was recommended to me several times, and again, as I applied it, I was really impressed. The volume was really good, and the curl was better than the Essence one. Length was so-so. But initial application was pretty good. That said, by the end of the day, this wore better than the Essence one, but by the end of the day, I had that little black cloud right here on my brow bone, where if something's gonna transfer, that's where it transfers on me, because my eyes are a little bit hooded, so my lashes do touch my skin when I look up right there. So that's kind of the smudging that I'm trying to avoid, and this unfortunately did smudge on me. And similar to the Essence one, removal wasn't the greatest. It was a combination of the tubing removal and the smeary mascara removal. So overall scores on this was length 6 out of 10, volume 7 out of 10, curl 6 out of 10, wear time 6 out of 10, and removal 5 out of 10. So a step up from the Essence one in terms of wear time and removal, but still not super impressive. All right, next up was probably one of the most hyped up ones for me, and one I was really excited to try because I remember loving it the last time I tried it. but I had a totally different experience this time. And it is the L'Oreal Double Extend. People love this mascara, so don't come for me if you love this mascara. If it works for you, that's great. But this one, it was the worst one in terms of smudging on me. I wanna say it was only a few hours in, and I had a black cloud where I typically get it up here, and underneath my lower lash line, which really never happens to me, even with non-tubing mascaras. However, removal on this was far easier than any of the others that I've talked about, so that kind of was the saving grace for this one. I was hoping to really like this because it has a primer and a mascara. Even with the extra step of the primer, I felt like the volume just could not get there for me. No matter how much I tried to build this up, it just didn't get to the point where I like my mascara to be, a little bit more on the dramatic side. Overall score for this was length 7 out of 10, volume 6 out of 10, curl 6 out of 10, wear time 6 out of 10, removal 8 out of 10, overall 6 out of 10. All right, next up is one that someone DM'd me on Instagram, and this is from Amazon. It's called Totally Tubular. So this was the more clearly marketed product that is supposed to be a tubing mascara. This comes in 3 different formulas, so I'd be interested to try the other 2. I got the ultimate. So the first thing I noticed on this one is that it's a very dry formula, which I typically like. It was so dry upon first application that I do wonder how many different times I could apply this, because it sort of felt like how most mascaras feel when they're starting to be at the end of their life. It's dramatic sounding, but when you're almost done with a tube of mascara, it was kind of that level of dry. So you have to work quickly with this one to really build up the volume, because it dries almost instantly as you're applying it, and it's kind of hard to layer. So I could get this to the level of volume that I wanted, but the length and the curl just weren't there because, again, it was so dry I couldn't build it up. And then a few hours in, I did notice some flaking under my eyes. There was no smudging, there was no black cloud. It was the kind of flaking, probably because it's so dry, it just started like chipping off. But it was the kind of flaking where you could just go like that and it was gone. And then the removal on this was very straightforward. It came off in tubes. This was one of the easier removals out of all of the mascaras that I've mentioned. So overall scores for this one were length 6 out of 10, curl 6 out of 10, volume 7 out of 10, wear time 6 out of 10, removal 8 out of 10, overall 6 out of 10. All right, next up is one of the more promising ones, and it is the LA Girl Volumatic Mascara. So this one applied much better than any of the others that I have talked about so far. I liked the way this looked upon initial application. That said, the wand is a little bit like pokey. It's one of those rubbery wands where the bristles are a little bit harder than like the Lash Sensational wand. So it sort of feels like you can't press too hard against your lash line, or it's a little bit uncomfortable. It's not painful in any way. It's not something you want to be rubbing along your upper lash line. And then when I went to do my end of day check-in, I was getting ready to come on there and be like, it lasted amazing, everything looks amazing. But I noticed when I was going to make my story for the update that there was a little bit of flaking underneath my eye, but it was very minimal, and that was like after 8 to 10 hours of wear. So at this point, outside of the wand being not my favorite, this was passing with flying colors. However, this was one of the worst removals in terms of how smudgy it was. Removed like a typical mascara, black all around my eye, but like I said, wear time on this was really great. So that's why I want to give you guys these ratings in categories, because maybe you don't care whether or not it comes off in tubes and you just want something that's going to last really well throughout the day. This definitely passed that test, but not so much the removal test. So overall score for this one is length 8 out of 10, volume 7 out of 10, curl 7 out of 10, wear time 8 out of 10, removal 4 out of 10, overall 7 out of 10. I do want to mention that I did test the Thrive mascara just as a baseline, because a lot of people were telling me that this is the best of the best, and a lot of people were asking whether or not all these drugstore mascaras were good just for the drugstore, or if they could compare to this Thrive mascara. So just as a side note, I did test this and I loved it. I $25 plus $6 shipping, love it. No, because of these last 2 mascaras that I tried. All right, these next 2 are equally as good in different ways. So let's start with this one. You guys know how much I love the Age Perfect mascara, the regular mascara. It's one of the most underrated drugstore products ever, and it's one of my all-time favorite mascaras from the drugstore. However, I saw on TikTok, Rudy Berry shared that this is a tubing mascara. The waterproof version of Age Perfect is a tubing mascara. It's so counterintuitive, because you think of a waterproof mascara being resistant to water, and tubing mascaras come off with just water. So let's just like put all that aside for a second and talk about this mascara. Let's just like push from our brains that the concept of this mascara makes no sense and discuss. So initial application of this out of all of the mascaras I've talked about so far was the best. The length, the curl, the volume, impressive. It applied more like a regular mascara, and I didn't feel like I was sacrificing any of those things for the sake of a non-transferring mascara. So I was just really excited about it upon initial application. Then I wore it all day, outside with the kids, 80 something degrees, and I hadn't even looked in the mirror all day. My husband's been out of town all week, and I was like in survival mode, ready to look at myself in the mirror after I put the kids to bed and be like, whoa, what has happened to you? And you guys, my mascara looked perfect. It looked like I had just applied it. I was like, this is crazy. So I came on Instagram and I told you guys like, hey, this is an amazing mascara. Whether or not this removes like a tubing mascara, I highly recommend this just as a sweat-proof summer mascara because of how well it lasted on me. But then it removed beautifully. Like there was a little bit of smudging, but mostly just removing in tubes. So this hit it out of the park for me. There's a but here coming, but first let me share the score with you. Length 9 out of 10, volume 9 out of 10, curl 10 out of 10, wear time 9 out of 10, removal 7 out of 10. Overall 9 out of 10. So 2 thumbs up. And then I shared that with you guys, and so many people messaged me saying that this is now being discontinued by L'Oreal. If you go on L'Oreal's website and you search for this mascara, the waterproof version, it is being discontinued. And I was like, all of this work, I went through all of these mascaras, I finally found one that is perfect, and it's being discontinued. And it is now sold out at Target. I think on Amazon is saying 4 weeks for shipping. Some people have said they found it at Walmart. So if you pass this by in your local drugstore, pick it up because it is going to be gone. So I felt like I had finally cracked the code. And if you can get your hands on this, please do, but it's going to be gone. So that brings us to the final mascara. And it is the No7 Stay Perfect long-lasting volume mascara. So this was one of the first ones I tried. Initial application of this, I wasn't super impressed, to be honest. This is great for those of you that just want to darken your eyelashes. You're not looking for crazy length, volume, or curl. You just want something that's gonna coat your lashes, make them dark, add a little bit of something, last all day without smudging, and then come off in tubes. So this is just a very basic tubing mascara. This was the best in terms of wear time and the best in terms of removal. The length, the curl, the volume, not so much. So scores for this were length 6 out of 10, volume 7 out of 10, curl 2 out of 10, wear time 10 out of 10, removal 10 out of 10. Overall 7 out of 10. But like I said, wear time and removal were both 10 out of 10. This is the only mascara that got 10 out of 10 for those two ultra important categories for a tubing mascara. So what I did yesterday and what I highly recommend that you do, so you don't have to go through all of these different formulas to try and find the perfect mascara for you that also happens to be transfer proof, is layer this over your mascara. So I did that yesterday with this Essence Lash Princess Curl and Volume Mascara. I love this mascara, but I can't wear it in the summer because it transfers on me. And I know that for a fact. Every time I wear this, by the end of the day, after a really hot day, it's transferred. So I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna test this theory, I'm gonna do it on a mascara that I know transfers on me. I applied this to this side, and then before it dried down, I layered this on top. I did that on both sides, and then I curled my lashes after it was completely dry. And you guys, my lashes looked so good yesterday, and they did not flake, they did not smudge. And that always happens to me with this mascara. I feel like this is the perfect solution to just layer this on top of any mascara that you have to turn it into a long wear mascara. Again, if you like just a really natural lash, you can wear this on its own, but I like the Va-Va-Voom, so this is a great layering mascara for me. That said, obviously removal isn't gonna be as seamless because you're wearing two different mascaras, so it's not gonna just come off in tubes, you're gonna have like a combo situation, but this really locked in the mascara I was wearing. So those are all of the mascaras that I have been experimenting with and my honest thoughts. None of them were completely perfect, but hopefully from the breakdown of the scoring, you can say, okay, this is what's important to me. I don't care so much about that. So even though she didn't like it as much, this is the type of mascara that works for me personally. Hope you guys enjoyed this style of video where I've done a lot of research before filming it and found it helpful. If you have a tubing mascara that I have to try, leave it down in the comments below. I will definitely give it a shot on my Instagram stories. Make sure you're following along there because I've been sharing daily stories of trying a bunch of different products. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next one.